got a problem here. The mayor's been getting a lot of heat for his relationship with the Latino community. And yesterday on New York One, Arnie Segaja, who's an old-time Latino leader who sits on the Human Rights Commission of the mayor, used to be a special assistant to David Dinkins, decided he was going to come out in defense of the mayor. And we wanted to hear this segment of this interview that New York One did with Arnie Segaja. Then we'll be joined by Gerson Borrero, who broke the story on the Latino heat on the Blasio candidacy. Let me give you a little segment of that before you run that interview. The combination of the booing of Mayor Bill de Blasio on Sunday's Dominican Day Parade, ongoing pressure by the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation, and recent tanking Quinnipiac poll numbers have prompted the first meeting, this is from Borrero, of what's being called the de Blasio Latino Kitchen Cabinet. Sources tell City and State. And essentially, among those planning to attend are Luis Gardner Acosta del Puente, who was appointed by the mayor to the City Commission on Human Rights. A prerequisite for getting invited is loyalty to the mayor. A preliminary list of invitees does not include leaders of the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation. When Gerson Borrero broke this story, the mayor's office responded, the mayor has been working to schedule a meeting with a longtime friend since May. The report of a Latino kitchen cabinet is false. Though, of course, the mayor seeks insight from members of all communities across the city, this particular meeting had been pulled off the calendar a number of days ago, since the mayor is focusing his time on supporting communities affected by the Legionnaires' outbreak. The meeting will be rescheduled. We thank City Hall for their response, and Gerson includes more information about who the source he spoke to, and we're going to see if we can get Gerson Borrero on the line while you listen to the interview so Gerson can tell us what exactly happened.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall. My next guest is a veteran observer and participant in New York City politics in a career that stretches back to John Lindsay's administration back in the 60s. He has spent a significant amount of that time building political coalitions within the Latino community. Some members of that community have lobbed criticism at this current mayor, Mayor de Blasio, partly over a perceived lack of attention to their concerns. Political consultant, activist, and current member of the city's Human Rights Commission, Arnaldo Segata, better known as Arnie, joins me now to give his take on the state of the city. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Let me maybe make an opening statement, like they say in my business.
Okay.
It could be folklore or rumors or bochinche, as they say in the Latino community, but President Johnson was once asked, it must be tough being President of the United States. And I believe his answer was, you could be mayor of New York.
Right. Do you feel like this criticism of de Blasio, particularly from the Latino community that we've been hearing, some sectors of the Latino community, is fair?
No. I think some of it has, well, we could talk about some of those issues, but I think it's unfair. We've got 20 years of a mindset, a Republican mindset. He's been in office a year and a half. We need to look at the issues and the policies that he's put in place.
The Campaign for Fair Latino Representation says that 11% of de Blasio's appointments are Latino, and 29%, nearly a third of the city, is Latino. So they say that Latinos are underrepresented at City Hall.
Well, look, this meeting that was rescheduled, it was not a kitchen cabinet.
So this was a meeting that was going to happen today.
This meeting was planned back in May, and this meeting was to discuss the issue of parity of Latinos in the city government, which is an issue that this administration has addressed. He's only been in office for a year and a half. There's 20 years of history of a different kinds of mindset in City Hall. He's a progressive mayor who's committed to a progressive administration.
That's benefited Latinos as well as everyone else.
Yes. I mean, this is just an ongoing series of this man, his administration, reaching out to communities.
Well, what about that lack of representation, according to the campaign, at least?
Well, again, one, let's look at the appointments that have been made. high-quality appointments, and he agrees that we're going to take a look at this, and he has been looking at this. This meeting, part of this meeting was to discuss that issue of parity in city government. He's a progressive, and this progressive mayor has looked at this issue and will continue to look at it.
You know, he's being compared to someone who you worked for very closely, someone who the mayor worked for as well, David Dinkins.
Yes.
Is that comparison apt?
I understand the comparison. I mean, it's a different city than it was 25 years ago. A different mayor. It wasn't like Mayor Dinkins got elected after 20 years of Republican administration. It's a different city, so I can't compare, and I won't compare. It's a different town. It's a different city.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more.
Why don't we do this? Why don't appointments are coming, and they will come. A lot more needs to be done, yes. Let's look at some of these policies.
Well, he was also booed recently at the Dominican Day Parade.
Wow, that's breaking news.
The mayor was booed at parade.
Booed at a parade.
Right. And in all fairness, I should say that according to the recent Quinnipiac poll, Hispanic voters back him 48 to 38%.
And that will increase. That definitely will increase. Look, again, I'm not a policy person. I'm used to being in the background. Need to tell you that Luis Garner and I were asked to put this group together. It is not a kitchen cabinet. It was a group that was going to meet, discuss some issues, and refer the Latino groups to meet with the mayor. You need to know that. It was not in reaction to the booing at the parade. This has been in play. Now, at the very easy, you have to turn around and say, look, let's look at the policy. I'm sure you have a crack research team. How many Latinos have been affected by pre-K? How many Latino families have been affected by IDNYC? How many Latino families have been affected by paid sick leave? I mean, they just go on and on and on. But that's for the policy people to discuss. My thing is that he's a progressive man, and he's looking to all communities in the city. We're talking about specifically about the Latino community. He's only been in office 18 months after 20 years of a different mindset. Sit down and look at the quality of the appointments that he has made. And he has some very brilliant people, whether it's health and hospitals, whether it's children's agency. I can't think of anyone smarter than Tony Sharps. Bill Brandt. I mean, let's look at these appointments.
We have to wrap. I'm going to ask you one quick question. What advice do you give Mayor de Blasio, bringing you back to the current mayor, because you are informed about it?
The advice I give to the mayor is private.
Well, what's something that you could share here? Is there anything that you feel would help him get his poll numbers up?
Stay focused.
All right, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Folks, you heard it there. That was Arnie Segaja, who used to work for Mayor Dinkins. He's been around for quite some time. And the person who broke this story in City and State, it's called Latino Heat under Blasio, brings kitchen cabinet meeting to City Hall, and it's been updated. I encourage people to go online and see it. And he was on last week, but I thought it was important he came on this because the mayor's people are saying that this meeting was canceled. Welcome to the show, Gerson Borrero.
Thank you, Howard. I was listening and just laughing out loud here. And you know, I have a cockatiel for a pet, and he's looking at me because I just got home. I had a long drive because I was taking my son to a friend's house out in Montauk, and I drove out early and coming back, and I'm rushing here to get on, and I'm saying, and I'm listening to this fool, and I'll get into that in a minute. You're right. First of all, I was on 2 weeks ago, but thank you that you think of me so much.
I think of you all the time. I can't think.
There you go. But I thank you for the invitation, and I say gracias to all the WBAI familia for tolerating some of the things that I say and actually paying attention. So you made reference to a City and State heard around town item that I did. This is a section that we have in City and State. If you have it, cityandstatenewyork.com. You can check it out, cityandstatenewyork.com. I was listening to your previous guest, and I know that you're, some of the techie savvy improficient or lack of proficiency. Some of us that are limited, but I'm sure you can find city and state New York. And the article, the item was on August 12th, and it refers to actually go through the whole thing because it's been updated. There is a response from the city of New York, but there's also my responding to what I had. Now, the kitchen cabinet, which Arnie Segarra, who was, and I don't want to get into Arnie, but I will. Arnie Segarra must have been dusted off from some old closet. The powder must have been dusted off. And it's sad to see that, yes, in 25 years, many things have changed, including Arnie Segarra. It's shameful to see an Arnie Segarra who was on the streets of New York when things were rough. And it is a different city, but he's a different person also. You know, Arnie Segarra has reached the retirement age. He officially retired. He should remain in Florida where he actually, goes to and lives most of the time. And let the people that have stayed behind in the firing line, in the barracks, doing the hard work, and become an apologist, a rear end kicker. Arnie, it is so unbecoming of a person with your dubious reputation that is now actually confirmed. Brother, you cannot be an enyangotao. You cannot, people, you don't look tall when you're kneeling. When you're walking on your knees, it doesn't look proper. So Arnie Segarra, and I know you listen to the BAI, with all due respect, which is really decreasing rapidly after listening to you actually shilling for the mayor of New York City. Brother, en vergüenza, you got to have some sense of decency. Now, Arnie Segarra, so that before we get into the whole kitchen cabinet concept where he says there is no kitchen cabinet. Well, actually, if you go to City and State New York, cityandstatenewyork.org, you will see that in this piece that I write, I also, because the kitchen cabinet in quotations that I put that leads the article, the report actually comes from them, from their organizing and calling it a kitchen cabinet. Gerson Borrero didn't invent it. So here's Arnie, the apologist, the Ñangotao, actually apologizing. By the way, he doesn't get a salary, which is beyond me. Sometimes people, sometimes slaves, in every sense of the word, serve the master for a payday or for food. In the case of Arnie, he's retired. I have actual communication from several people that Arnie knows who I'm talking about. If you want to, Arnie, I'll put your stuff out there, begging that people lobby the mayor so that he could be appointed to a position, a non-paying position as a special advisor. So I know that sometimes people, when they lose their standing in the eyes of the community, have to come back and say, but don't demean yourself, Arnie. Don't become like that. Don't become a limpiasaco, an alcahuete. Those things are not flattering. And people look up to you, or some people look up to you, and now you're over here shining the mayor's boots, licking his boots. Come on, brother. That ain't right, man. That is not right. It is unbecoming of a so-called leader whose fantasies include coming to serve as a special advisor, non-paid. Howard, why would you do that? Why would Arnie Segarra? He's got wounds, he's got scars, man. But brother, you using Arnie, está perdiendo la vergüenza, brother, si se queda alguna, and that means you're losing whatever sense of decency you have, and you're losing a rapper. You don't. Come on, stop licking boots, man. Unbelievable.
No,
And to disrespect. Wait, and to disrespect the work of the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation, disrespect the work of Angelo Falcon, who has been monitoring administrations that go back to Ed Hatch, okay, Rudy Giuliani, for him to disrespect all the accumulated data of this Puerto Rican political scientist is to me, it's annoying. Not me. He can say whatever he wants. Because I know that he's in Ñangotao now. I know he walks on his knees. And so that, having said that, we can get, thank you, but you provoked me, man. You put this shell out, this house Negro, and you put him, in this case a Puerto Rican, you put him on before me. I have to respond. Well, what can I say, Howard?
Well, the one thing he did raise, and I'm just curious on your response to that, is that he mentioned some other programs like pre-K and all the rest, and that
That's so
that
stupid. Come on. You really going to take him seriously? Oh, come on.
I just have to bring it out. He said if you
Come on. This doesn't, come on. Let's move on. How
okay.
could he be so stupid to say that? How could he be so stupid? And you're going to give him credibility by actually going back to that? Come on. By the way, I got off the phone. I was talking to Brother Charles Barron. Stay tuned because on Monday he has an important press conference on the steps of City Hall. You know that Charles Barron and I don't agree on everything, but I respect from his work. So Assemblyman, I was going to say Congressman Charles Barron. I was having some trouble, but Assemblyman Charles Barron, who I known for a long time, and his smarter 2/3, which is Inez Barron, the city council member, are holding a Barron, the king and queen of Brooklyn, are holding a press conference on Monday that I think people should tune into. I think you should have him on here because he's giving some advance, and they have to do with a prosecution of police officers who are killing, and you know who they kill. They kill young blacks and Latinos. So it's a very interesting press conference. I'm not plugging it. I just said I'm interested in the subject, and Charles Barron is stepping up with some real legislation, not the kind of stuff that is being, paraded by Andrew Cuomo and Eric Schneiderman as being some kind of change so that we can get some kind of justice when our young men are killed unnecessarily by homicidal police officers. Not when it's right, it's right. When it's wrong, it's wrong.
Well, Elsa, I don't want to ask you about Arnie, but I think you already responded to that. But I did want you to at least
what can I say?
Give us the sequence in terms of the mayor's accusations that somehow there was no meeting and that it was canceled. At least the process so that people don't think.
I would refer them again to cityandstatenewyork.com. Cityandstatenewyork.com. There is a press. Look again. I spoke to 7 people. It's Latino heat on the Blasio brink, quote, kitchen cabinet, close quote, meeting to City Hall. And then it's updated. So I report based on someone called me. And I got an original call, and then I was sent an email, then some other emails, then another call. I spoke to a total, for a small piece, total of 7 people. I think you've known me for a while. I think, I've been for almost 40 years, as young as I look, and I am. I've been on the scene for a long time. And I've reported since 8 Beam I've been covering mayors. And folks, I'm only 64 years old. And I feel younger than that. I'm 64. I look like I'm 50. I feel like I'm 35. How's that?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Forever
that's
young.
A good
that's
breakdown,
good.
Right? Yeah. But having said that, seriously, I've been, I know these bozos. With all due respect to some of them, I know the bozos that we elect at City Hall, from 8 Beam, to Ed Koch, and to Rudy Giuliani, and to Miguelito Bloomberg. I mean, I've seen them all. And by the way, let me go back to one. He says 20 years of Republican rule. Are you crazy? I mean, come on. There was actual accountability and people holding accountable during the 20 years. Puerto Ricans and other Latinos didn't pack up and go, Arnie. We were holding them accountable also. It's insane for him to suggest that somehow because they were Republican and this progressive my ass. That's what Bill de Blasio is. I mean, come on. Get the hell out of here. Progressive, we know progressive people. Progressive people are listening to BAI. Progressive people are doing shows on BAI. Progressive people are doing things in their neighborhood. Progressive people are pushing the button every sense of the word, both in the state legislature and holding people accountable that they elect in communities of color, in white communities, in communities that are real progressives. Bill de Blasio has turned out to be nothing more but another politician. He's not even a reformer. I could accept a reformer, whether they are, like Miguelito was a reformer. Let's give him credit for that being Michael Bloomberg. But Bill de Blasio, a progressive? Come on now, man.
Gerson, thank you very much for being with us.
What? Are you kidding? I'm just getting started. What the hell are you talking about? You gonna cut me off?
No.
You gave all that space to that sellout Uncle Tom, Arnie Segarra, and then now you're going to cut my time?
I was at all trying to get somebody from the mayor's office here to chime in, but I only have one line.
Who you want to get? Roberto Perez,
yes.
Another lackluster.
Oh, my God.
Is he coming on?
Well,
is he coming on?
Not anymore. You keep on.
Is Roberto Perez coming up? I feel sorry for Roberto. For Roberto, you know, it's a great gig. He's making over $100,000. It's better than the postal salary that he has as working on the post. I understand, Roberto. You go and do your thing, brother. Go ahead. They bought you. You're bought and paid for.
Oh, Gerson, I think I just lost one of my guests. Thanks to you. So you got...
You're going to kick it out? Come on, Roberto. Go ahead. Shovel it, man. Give him a big shovel so he can cover some of the manure from City Hall. Come on, give it to him.
All right, Gerson, you got any final words for the WBI family? If I think I may not be able to... Can I call you back?
No. Yeah, I know my tongue is loose, but I'm just telling it like it is, folks. And I'm not copying it from anybody, but we're tired of hearing all the nonsense that goes on, and the BS has got to stop. He's only been in office for 18 months. Go fly a kite, man, because I don't want to say something else. Papa.
Wow.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you very much, Gerson. I know it's short notice. Hey, thank you always for being available for the folks on WBAI. And we'll see if we get... We'll be back in a minute, people.
Don't tell me that chicken scary cat is not going to come on because I just told him the truth.
Wow.
He's getting paid a salary. He's working for us. Don't be a chicken, bro.
Bye, Gerson Borrero. That's Gerson Borrero, editor at large of City and State. And we'll be back in a minute and see if we can find Roberto. This is Howard Jordan on the Jordan Journal, and you were listening to Gerson Borrero. We've been talking about this ongoing debate on the, quote, Latino heat under the Blasio brings kitchen cabinet meeting to City Hall that was subsequently canceled, and Gerson obviously gave his interpretation. And I'm joined online by the Director, the chair of the Committee for Fair Latino Representation, and I don't know how he's going to top what we just finished hearing by Borrero. Maybe we can be more issue-oriented now. Welcome to the show, Javier Nieves.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for having me on.
I don't know whether you caught the tail end of that, Javier.
I certainly did, but I'm out in the street, so I have not been... I heard all this fireworks that's happening in there.
So look, maybe we can. And now that my nerves are settled, maybe we can talk a little about this. I played the segment of the interview with Ani Segaja, right? And
okay.
And my question is, he seems to have believed that he set himself up as a person that was going to try to bring all these people together. What do you think about this idea of this kitchen cabinet? And he made some serious accusations in terms of his accusation that the campaign for fair Latino representation was in fact incorrect in the sense that the mayor had been doing a lot more than he had. Would you care to respond to those?
Yeah, absolutely, Howard. First of all, I also watched it last night, and I think it's the tired old statement company guy who comes out defending his boss, and certainly, look, he has every right to do and to defend his boss, but he certainly did not say anything of substance, and it does take away from the real issue, which is that we're calling attention in the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation to a dire need in our Latino community of employment, of lack of representation in this administration. Many of us were very hopeful in the beginning. He started out right. He named some top Latino commissioners, and certainly we were hopeful that was going to continue, and then it started to go downhill from there, to the point where today we're talking about a city with over 2.5 million Latinos. We have an administration that went into City Hall on the theme of inclusion and diversity, and we're talking about only the descent of his appointment has gone down to, and this is, I believe, up to 12%. So, I mean, that's a real problem because it certainly shows that And I heard Arnie's statement regarding we have 20 years of a Republican administration, and the mayor's only been there 18 months, making excuses. And certainly we understand that very well in the Latino community, and certainly anything is an improvement for through the past administrations that we had there. But so you could have put a dummy there, and certainly it would have been an improvement. The issue here is that the mayor has seen fit not to take leaders of the Latino community seriously. And I don't say that lightly because I've been a big backer of the mayor from the very beginning. I was one of his early supporters in the Latino community when no one even gave him an opportunity. I endorsed him and I ran his campaign in Sunset Park. So I'm not out here bashing the mayor or trying to make him look bad. But we certainly have a need to call attention to the whole issue that he has not responded. So our campaign that is being accused of job seeking within the administration and all of this, which is a total fallacy. There are people out there that want positions. Absolutely, we don't control that. Just like we don't control what the mayor does and who he gives jobs to within his administration. But the reality is that we have asked to meet with the mayor and in a very constructive way to bring attention to this issue of underrepresentation or lack of representation, or however you want to call it. And he's not seen fit to meet with us. And it isn't just Javier, or it isn't just a few people that are disgruntled. No one here is disgruntled other than we certainly had our hopes high with this mayor. And slowly but surely, and we still have hope, and we're still giving him an opportunity to come to address these concerns. And so all we wanted was, the first point is, the first important point that has to be made is that in order to address our concerns, there has to be dialogue, and he has to meet with us. Not negating over 50-plus leaders and organizations throughout the city of New York that the campaign comprises of. It's sort of like a total lack of respect. So that's what I feel. And Arnie, I mean, what do we expect? We've been around the block several times. What do you think Arnie's going to do? He's certainly not going to go against his boss. But it's sad because Arnie has been around for a long time, and for him to lend himself to that kind of justification that the mayor is doing so great. I just came from taping with Pura Politica with Juan Manuel Benitez, and we had the other person from the Blasio administration, Roberto Perez.
Well, hopefully he'll be joining us after you, so I can find him.
And it's sad that it was basically a rough translation in Spanish of what Arnie stated. So this is how the mayor chooses to put attention on a community that supported him, and I think that still supports him, but that support is waning. And he has to make some serious adjustments as to who he's listening to and who's giving him advice, because this is certainly not the way it's going. And now other issues are creeping up from the Dominican community, from other communities, even in the black community, which he thought he had locked up. There are a lot of concerns, and in particular, as for me in particular, in the area of Sunset Park, where I reside, on the issues of affordable housing, on the issues of the position of us being tried to be denied a parade permit, where we went into meetings with the Community Assistance Unit with Roberto and Michael Carrion. We had to fight just to get a freaking permit. So there's all of this haggling and all of this political machinations that are taking place that certainly does not benefit de Blasio himself if he's looking to be reelected. And on top of that, I still believe that he's a progressive mayor. I think he still wants to do the right thing. But, and I'm still hopeful and giving him that opportunity. But I am not going to stay shut in a situation where our community, is under attack, being gentrified, and employment is the first line of defense for our community to really meet their needs in terms of staying in a community and not being displaced, and certainly he has not they come on with the line, he wants to be the mayor for all of the cities. Well, he has to be, but they talk about the municipal ID, the pre-K, and all this stuff. Yes, everybody benefits, and we agree with those aspects of his policy, but he's leaving out, if that is supposed to trickle down to us, he's leaving out 1/3 of the population of the city of New York, and that's the concentration that the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation is making as it relates to this administration and the lack of respect that we've gotten. We're talking about some serious community organizers, known entities that are part of this, and that he knows many of the leaders that are, and respectable leaders in this campaign. And I don't think anyone here is certainly trying, because I certainly don't think that we can provide jobs, or we're a link to provide jobs for people who are coming to, if that's their attempt to the campaign to get a job. We certainly have held steadfast to our initial goal, and it is to be a full participant in running the city of New York with the mayor. We put him there, so he must respond to us, and the time is running out.
The mayor, you mentioned very clearly that the pre-K and some of the other programs the mayor brought in, they try to cast some of your concerns as being more preoccupied, trying to cast it as more like a patronage thing. How would you respond to that? The mayor obviously wants to give the impression, or some of the statements that have been made, that this is just about getting people positions. How would you respond to that accusation?
Well, I mean, you mean that the campaign is trying to get people positions?
Yeah.
Well, that's totally false. They can say all they want regarding that the campaign is trying. And furthermore, and if a person comes to the campaign and they're saying that they've put in an application or they've been interviewed with the administration and they think that we're going to help their cause, I don't know in what way, because we can't seem to even get a meeting with the mayor. So that to me, it's totally false. It's totally wrong. I don't think that you can talk about a lot of the members that are there, from Jaime Estales from the Latino Leadership Institute, from Dennis Flores from El Grito de Sunset Park, from Latinos Puerto Ricans for a Better Image in the Bronx with Lucky Rivera, with Ramon Jimenez, with Dr. Luis Reyes. These are respectable people in our community. For people to even suggest that we are a job seeking placement organization, well, who can believe that if we can't even get a meeting with the mayor? So, I mean, it's totally false, who's going to buy that,
How can people chime in and support the work of the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation?
They can go into our website. They can through fairlatinorepresentation.org. They can go to our Facebook page. They can certainly contact me, Nieves J38@gmail.com. And certainly we have monthly meetings where we average about 50, 60 people that come to these meetings. We're in the process and our goal is to create a progressive Latino policy agenda throughout the city of New York, because we see that one of the goals initially outlined by us was that there was a lack of a unifying Latino policy agenda for the city of New York. So we're trying to establish that, and we have set ourselves in the path of creating a citywide forum that's going to be happening in October with community leaders and organizations. We have in every borough we will be having similar forums, and ultimately we're having a summit where everybody's going to be invited to. so that we can come out with this document that it isn't just talking and it isn't just about a few people getting jobs. It's about the bigger issue, the bigger problem that our community is facing is that every administration that comes there, and even those that profess to be progressive and really come to us when they're running for elections, certainly tell us, hey, okay, vote for me. But once they get in, it's okay. You gotta wait. You gotta be patient. Well, our patience has run out. And they have to take that seriously, and they're going to suffer the consequences as a result, because our community is extremely dissatisfied with what's happening in the city of New York. No one's talking about the issues of gentrification. We are right now in the midst of fighting an affordable housing plan in Sunset Park. Air rights to libraries are being sold, and I call it displacing our children, gentrifying our children first, because air rights are being sold to developers who and it sounds good because most people think, oh, affordable housing. We need affordable housing. Well, there's a problem with that word, because the question is not affordable housing, but affordable for who? And we're certainly not affordable to us. This is for people. There's a whole criteria of cases. So we're fighting this, and the mayor has projected that he wants to create a large number of over, I believe, something in the range of over 100 and something thousand units of affordable housing in the city of New York. Well, that, to me, in my community of Sunset Park, equates to gentrification, equates with displacement, equates with getting the people who have stood in those communities and who have fought against stereotypical insults to our communities and to our people, and who have stayed in those hard times in those communities and who have lifted up those communities. And now it's desirable to the point where, hey, we totally disregard with these people. Well, he has to start addressing those concerns. But it's not only displacement and gentrification with these policies and programs that he has put into place. He certainly has to, the waterfront, another issue. We're being bombarded. Sweetheart deals are being carved out and being made available to companies to come from the outside. Well, why can't that affordable housing plan also, in order for those affordable housing, so that our community can have access to that affordable housing, low-income people can have access to that affordable housing development, why can't he give incentives to the developer for low-income housing as opposed to just simply affordable housing, which is a code word for you ain't getting that apartment,
Javier, we are running out of time, so we're going to have to see if we get some of you folks into the studio, and I'll bring the boxing gloves, all right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Javier. We'll catch you on the next wave. That's Javier Nieves, Campaign for Fair Latino Representation. We'll be back in a minute. Let's see if we can find the mayor's rep now. Thank you very much for being with us. And, I know some people in this dialogue sometimes get unnecessarily twisted, and I know there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in a lot of this, but person I'm going to introduce is an old friend, so I just wanted to say that as a precursor. He was also, in full disclosure, one of the assistant producers of the Jordan Journal a while back. But now he sits in a different role, and he, like everybody else, is subject to accountability. And he is the deputy commissioner for community affairs for Mayor de Blasio. And he's an old friend, and welcome to the Jordan Journal. Welcome back, Roberto Perez.
Thank you so much, Howard. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for this opportunity. And I hope you're well. I know we haven't spoken in a long time.
Maybe we can start by, we've had a few people come this way. We've heard from Gerson Borrero. We've heard from Javier Nieves. First of all, make the case for us in terms of what a lot of these folks are saying, that the mayor has not done enough for the Latino community. Make the case for the mayor.
Well, Howard, we understand that there needs to be more work done in the area. We have made gains. There have been increases to the percentage of Latinos within the administration. Are we where we want to be? No. There's still more work to be done, but the mayor is committed, and he said it time and time again that he is committed to an administration that includes Latinos and that reflects the city and the demographics of the city. So he's committed 100% to inclusion in this administration. But remember, there was 20 years of Republican governance in the city, so it's going to take some time. We're not where we want to be, but there's more work to be done, but he is definitely committed, and we have made gains.
You know, Robert, one of the things that, and we both know Angelo Falcone from the National Institute for Latino Policy, who's been tracking some of this. It seemed at the beginning of the mayor's, when he first got in, he made some very high-profile appointments, Gladys Carrion, very recognized people in our community, and the statistics started going up given the years of so much neglect. Then all of a sudden the numbers started sliding back down, and according to the last report of the survey by the Institute, it's down to 11 or 12% of the population. Why hasn't the mayor made more Latino appointments in some of these areas? Areas like, for example, until recently, the Division for Human Rights didn't even have a Latino representation, and that's an agency charged with dealing with discrimination. You would think he would have found people in those areas as well. Why have the numbers gone down when he had done such a positive effort in the very beginning of his administration?
Howard, these things take time. Again, I repeat, the mayor is committed to an administration that reflects the city, that includes not just Latinos, but every group. There's still more work to be done, but we're working on the matter.
Why has he refused to meet with the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation? And tell us a little bit about this kitchen cabinet that Mr. Borrero went off on a little earlier. Was there a meeting scheduled? Is there a kitchen cabinet? And will the mayor at some point in the future be meeting with Latino representatives of diverse people in our community?
The mayor meets with folks from all groups, Latinos and some of the other groups. He meets with labor leaders. He meets with clergy. He meets with leaders from every community. There is no kitchen cabinet. There was a meeting scheduled amongst friends of the mayor. There were some friends of the mayor, longtime friends that weren't part of that conversation, but there is no Latino kitchen cabinet. And he meets with people from different groups all the time, and that's it. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Maybe you can also outline one other thing that continues to be brought up. Some people are saying that, which is part of the argument that I played part of the interview in New York. One is that the mayor, by making across-the-board improvements in different quality of life issues, let's say like pre-K, right? That it affects all people, and by so doing so affects Latinos as well. And that seems to be an argument that was advanced by Arnie and by many other people. And one of the problems, Robert, is that you're beginning to see a lot more complaints about not having, for lack of a better word, Latino-specific and African-American-specific remedies. Because sometimes on this universal thing that we're going to deal with all poor people, and we're going to deal with people of all one class, we escape the specific needs of specific communities. So then that becomes a real problem, and you're beginning to see with people like people from the Black Institute, some of the things they say, why aren't there programs geared to deal with some of the realities of the African-American community? Now you're hearing it from the Latino end. Do these across-the-board strategies necessarily mean an improvement for all, or should the mayor really be considering something specific targeted toward these given communities that have a history of underrepresentation?
Howard, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to every problem. But one thing I can tell you is that the mayor is committed, again, to a diverse city, the city that includes everyone. And we're working on the issue. Again, are we where we want to be? Of course not. But we're working towards those ends.
Any other final words, anything you want to share with the WBI family? And as usual, you and anybody from the mayor's office is always welcome here to share your thoughts on how we could better coordinate efforts to make our community more inclusive. Any final thoughts?
No, what I want to just say is, the mayor is, again, he's focused on universal pre-K, paid sick leave. preserving and building new affordable housing. There's been a reduction in fines for small business owners. Again, we're not where we want to be, but we've definitely made gains, and we're working towards more progress. Thank you again, Howard, for letting me be part of your program.
Robert, you're always welcome here. That's Robert Perez, folks, Deputy Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for Community Affairs. Some of you know or recognize that voice from Robert Perez, who used to be one of my assistant producers here on the Jordan Journal, and who's gone on to bigger and better things. And I think we're going to be taking a lot of more heat in the future as well, but we shall see. And you've heard all sides of the equation. Now you've heard Gerson Borrero in his usual incredibly straightforward approach. You've heard Javier Nieves, and you've heard Robert Perez. Folks, for those who there was no particular sequence, you have to understand we only have one available line here, so we couldn't get all these people on at the same time. Okay, so we'll be back in a minute.